So in this section we're going to talk about tables. Historically, tables have been used on the web for many different things. In the early days, for example, they were used to actually lay out content before things like CSS and div tags became the norm, which have now obviously been replaced by things like header and main and footer tags. The table element has, however, increased dramatically in terms of usability over the years, which is why I'm going to talk about it now. So to create a table, we first just create a table tag. We then commonly have something like a caption. As with the fig caption we talked about in the previous video when we were talking about images, the caption is just used to actually refer to the table and to give it some context. The next thing which you would normally expect to find was a t-head. And this is going to define the header section of our table. So we're first going to include a new row, and in this row we're going to create some table head elements. So we're going to create 3 columns. We would then obviously expect to find a t-body, and this is where the main bulk of the content is going to go. So we'd create a table row, and within that you'd have some table data. And obviously we have 3 rows, and therefore we have 3 table data elements. We can have multiple rows, we can have as many rows as we want in fact. And then when we go to view this now, we can see that we have our context up here, which is our actual caption. Then we have our columns, which is our table head tag. And then we have the main body, which is already formatted for us. Now you're no doubt wondering why bother with all of this additional information, why bother putting a header, a body, and the reason is simply accessibility. Just by adding this extra tags, we're able to add context to the table for people who use things like screen readers to browse the internet, people who don't have an actual screen in front of them. And so by just adding this one extra tag, we can increase our potential audience dramatically to everyone who uses screen reader software which is compatible with HTML5. If you didn't include this information and a screen reader user browsed your website, they would have no information about how the table is actually structured. All they would see is a load of table rows with table data tags and no actual context at all. And the benefits of adding this increased context also extends to web crawlers from websites like Google, people who actually want to understand the context and the content within your page. And so while these aren't strictly HTML5 tags, like with other HTML5 tags, actually using them can potentially increase your page ranking within search engines. In the next section we're going to look at the footer tag, as well as all of the elements which are commonly associated with it, such as the details tag. So stay tuned for that. The details tag actually provides us with a small pop-up box, which allows us to provide a minimal amount of information to the user, which can then be expanded by the user to learn more.